Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at 10 questions only a genius or a psychopath can answer. There are some questions that people use to test things about your personality and your intelligence. But these are some questions that, if you can answer them, will tell you if you're a genius or a psychopath. Try and answer all 10 and find out your true self. But before we get started, click the link in the top right corner to check out my brand new channel, The Crafty. Coming in at number 10 is Spinning Dancer. This is an amazing optical illusion which says a whole lot about you. The illusion is not only fascinating but famous, and psychology professors study it at many top colleges. It was made by a Japanese designer in 2003, and in 2010 it went viral. Take a look at the spinning dancer. You should be able to see what direction she's spinning in. If she's spinning left, then the left side of your brain is more dominant. This means you're more creatively driven and enjoy arts and music. But if you see the dancer spinning right, then the right side of your brain is more dominant. This means you're more geared towards fact, math and science instead of creative things. Some people, however, can switch the direction the dancer's spinning in with their brain, meaning they could be psychopaths. Both sides of their brain are powerful, yet no side is more dominant. With this, you can also expect dramatic personality changes from time to time with those people. Next up is fathers and sons. This is a mind-blowing riddle that is for geniuses. The riddle goes like this. Two fathers and two sons walk into a store. They each buy something for 50 cents but only spend $1.50. How is this possible? I'll give you a second to work it out and then let you know the answer. The answer is one grandfather, one father and one son makes two fathers and two sons. That is 3 people, and 3 50 cents are $1.50. This riddle has stumped so many people, but you really need to think outside the box to get it. And some say people who can answer this tricky riddle have a high chance of being a genius. Next up is one line. Back in 2016, a riddle emerged that stumped so many people. There were different versions of it, with some people using lines and others using matchsticks. But the riddle is always the same. There's an equation written out in lines, which is 6 plus 6 equals 4. This is obviously wrong, but the riddle is, can you change one line to make this equation correct? At first, this seems pretty much impossible, but believe it or not, there are actually 3 different correct answers. The first one is moving the line like this to make 8 minus 4 equals 4. The second is moving a line like this to make 0 plus 4 equals 4. And the third is moving a line like this to make 5 plus 4 equals 9. It seems crazy there's so many options, but they're all so hard to spot. Did you get any of these options correct? And if so, how many? Next up is squares. This is another tricky question most people can't solve. It's kind of like one of those how many shapes are there questions you used to get when you were a kid, only this one is on another level. Take a look at this shape and tell me how many squares are in it. Many people say there's 7 squares in this image because of all the shapes inside the big square, but the answer is actually 5. This is because some of the shapes inside the big square are rectangles, not squares. And of course you also have to count the big square all the shapes are in. This is a tricky question, but if you got it, it means you have great visual awareness and could very well be a genius. Next up is Mona Lisa. This is a spot the difference question. But make no mistake, this isn't like the ones you might get in your daily paper. This is only one the visually aware would get, and it proves whether you're a genius or not. Take a look at these 2 Mona Lisas and tell me what the difference between them is. You should already know what the Mona Lisa looks like, so maybe this won't be too hard. Or will it? I'll give you a few seconds to check out the images and decide for yourself. The answer was that in the bottom left image, there's a path in the bottom left corner, but in the right one, there is no path thanks to a shadow. And if you could figure out which was the original and which was the edited one, you get a bonus point. Believe it or not, the left is the original, but I almost prefer the one without the path. Next up is age. This is a riddle which proves whether you're a genius or not. This is something many university professors have been stumped on, but surprisingly, sometimes people who aren't good at regular math get this. This is because you have to stop thinking so logically and start thinking outside the box. The question goes like this. In 1990, a person is 15 years old. In 1995, that same person is 10 years old. How can this be? Now you may be thinking they should have aged 5 more years and turned 20, not lost 5 and turned 10. But this is because you're thinking way too laterally about this. The answer is that the person was born in 2005 BC, so we have to count it backwards. It all makes sense after it's been explained, but this is of course a riddle only a genius would get. Next up is 41 or 1. This is one riddle which can cause a giant argument among friends or in your office. Here's the question, 40 plus 40 times 0 plus 1 equals what? There are 2 options for the answer, but only one is correct. So, would the answer to this question be 1 or 41? This has caused a lot of office debates and millions of angry Facebook arguments. But I can put that all to rest now by telling you that the answer is in fact 41. You have to use a rule called BODMAS. So 40 times 0 is 0, and then 40 plus 0 plus 1 is 41. This is a tough riddle to crack, but did you get it? If so, congrats, you're well on your way to becoming a genius. Next up is eating. This is a simple looking riddle with a tough to get answer. The riddle is, people buy me to eat, but never eat me. What am I? I'll give you a second to think about it and then tell you the answer. You were probably thinking of a food when I said this, but the answer is not a food or a drink. It's actually a plate. If you got this, you may very well be a genius, as you can consider many concepts. Also, you think outside the box, which is a good trait. Some job interviewers have been known to ask this question to see if candidates are quick thinking, so remember this one for later just in case. Next up is spinning face. This is kind of similar to the spinning dancer one from before. This is another optical illusion, but it gives off a very different meaning. Take a look at the spinning face mask. Now, is it convex on just one side or both sides? The answers are that the mask is only convex on one side and is only rotating in one direction. So, what does this mean for you? If you got both answers wrong, then this is good, as you're totally normal. But if you thought the mask is only convex on one side and is only rotating in one direction, then you may be a psychopath. This is because psychopaths' brains don't pick up on certain details, so they wouldn't see the illusion of the mask being convex on both sides. Which are you, normal or a psycho? Next up is grass. This is one way to test if you're a psychopath. Many doctors say psychopaths have this crazy attention to detail. Take a look at this grass. Do you see anything? If not, good, you're not a psychopath, as you don't have too much attention to detail. On the other hand, if you saw the number 736, then you have a lot of visual attention and awareness. Some people who see this could also be a genius, as they see things others can't. So, based on these questions, would you say you're a genius or a psychopath? Guys, as I said before, be sure to check out my new channel, The Crafty. There's some absolutely amazing videos on there, so definitely check it out. And if you comment saying you subscribed, I will try to reply to each and every one of you. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.